Hi, and welcome to another Scientology Outside of the Church podcast. This is October 27th, 2025. This is season 12, episode 4, and the working title of this podcast is Shoulda, Woulda, Coulda. Now, what does that mean exactly? We're going to get into that and you'll see where it heads. But one of the things that we've observed and I've observed specifically is the concept of there's always a better time to do your bridge, to get going to OT and get on course, and everything has to be in the right place,
Mm-hmm.
Uh, where would you rather be anywhere but here? And we talked about this from varying degrees before, but it's really important to get the idea that um, the best time is now to get on and up your bridge and not wait for the physical universe to comply. That is the crux of this podcast. Wouldn't you say, Quentin and Arthur?
Yeah, and then when we talk
Totally
about
agree.
shoulda, coulda, woulda, like as as you are moving throughout life, and life is doing what it's gonna do because it always does. Life be lifing, but when as life is going about its own course, if you're constantly remaining the effect of life, the effect of bills, the effect of family and friends and other stuff going on, if you're constantly remaining the effect of, it's almost like your dynamics start to collapse. And this is just how I'm looking at it. Like your dynamics start to kind of collapse in, and that's when people start to feel stuck. That's when people start to feel like I cannot get out of this situation because the situation is so collapsed in on them. And so if a person is looking for the perfect time to go up the bridge, the perfect time to do the right thing, right? The perfect time, when is that ever? Right?
Exactly.
Because these things will constantly serve as suppressors in your environment. That's what the MEST universe is, as to a Thetan. The MEST universe serves as a suppressor.
Right. And you're especially lower on the bridge. The game is playing you. You are not playing the game. We've talked about that a lot in a
Yeah.
lot of the recent podcasts. And the thing is to get you to a point to where you're playing the games you want to play, not the current games that you're playing. Regardless, you're still playing those games.
Yeah.
But the thing is that theta is senior to consideration. So you look at the masked universe and you look at the comm lags, the communication lag, you make a postulate, and that postulate is I'm going to get up my bridge. And I got to have, and this goes back to all of the other podcasts as well, I got to have this in order to do this, in order to be this. And that's really what's going on here. But the thing is the physical universe can have, especially at the lower end of the bridge, can have a really, really long communication lag. So
Mm.
why would you want to agree? Because by sticking with it, what are you doing? You're agreeing with the physical universe. You say, I can't do that. This has to be in place, and this I got to take care of this, and let me get this taken care of. And what?
Yeah.
Because you're saying, I want to play my own games, but I got these games I got to play. I mean, that's really what we're talking about in this podcast.
Right. That's so good. I
and
want to I want to play my
And
own
it's
and
game, but I
funny,
as
got
like
an
games I
the
gotta play.
go ahead, Arthur.
yeah, and it's funny the amount of justifications that come with those kinds of things is mind blowing. Um, Especially when, let's say, somebody comes to you for some counsel, and then they give you their situation, and then you point out what can help them. Oh, but it's so hard to find people. Oh, but it's so hard to do this. Oh, but it's so hard to do that.
Mm.
It's and it's such a common thing, and it's interesting because I was once in that position too, and to some degree I still do that.
Mhm.
Um, but as far as moving forward and having theta goes around future projects, future potentials, um, doing the work I've done so far has definitely increased that significantly,
Yeah.
significantly, because I'm able to see my own blocks much clearer, and then just having an awareness of the power of justifications preventing you from progressing, being able to see those justifications more so for justifications than reality is really powerful too, because it's not
Right.
reality, it's just a reason to not progress.
Right. Quentin, do you have access to the definition of considerations in the tech dictionary or on RAI?
Yeah, I got it right here. Hold on a second. Yep.
Jeopardy music plays in the background.
And a tech dictionary, one second.
Yep.
I'm going down. Hmm. Okay. Dictionary. Here it is. It's pulling up. All right. So considerations. So it gives me the uses of the word considerations and other definitions, but I don't see an actual definition of consideration.
Okay.
I've got one here.
Okay.
So
Let's mark this.
consideration one, a thought, a postulate about something.
Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. I found
Two,
it.
yeah,
Okay.
you got it.
No, you
Yep.
go ahead.
Uh, Two, a consideration is a continuing postulate.
Hmm.
That's interesting.
There we go. Yeah,
Yeah, that's really
that
good.
was that was what I was looking for.
That's right.
Okay, and then the third definition, the highest capability of life, taking rank over the mechanics of space, energy, and time.
Yes.
There we
Taking
go.
rank
There
over the
we go.
mechanics of space, energy, and time. But even the
Wow.
Okay.
first definition, a thought, a postulate about something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, the second one. Yeah.
Right. So you can see that, as LRH says, considerations are senior to the physical universe. Therein lies the rub.
Hmm.
Because if that's the case, you have these postulates that you've got in place. Well, I need to fix that leaky pipe before I can go out and I can get in the car and I can go out and get a job. I need to handle my cats. I need to handle this. I need consideration, consideration, consideration. So you've got this long list of all of these things that are postulates that you put there in
Right.
front of getting into a position where you're auditing, your training is helping you handle these things so you're not being played by the game, you're playing the game. You're making
Mhm.
postulates of a positive nature, not of and a forward advancing nature, not of a stop, 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 stop. That's what's happening. And that's where you get into this shoulda, woulda, coulda. If I'd only done this, I could be doing this right now. That's a consideration.
Yep.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Hmm.
Which
And
goes back
and
to the
that's
first definition, a thought,
right.
a postulate about something. But then the second, it's almost like this definition has three ranks of what consideration is, right? So the initial idea, okay, so you've had a thought and a postulate.
Yeah.
But then the second definition is a continuing postulate, which means you're constantly thinking about it. You're not actually doing it. And then
Mm.
the third
Right.
definition is taking over the mechanics of it and pretty much making it happen.
That
Right.
first
And
part
if
of
you're
the
constant,
first part of the third definition is important. the highest capability of life. So imagine if a person
Yes.
is saying, I can only do this much, or I can only show up this times, or I can only da 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 da. And if that's your consideration, that's the highest capability you feel you're capable of. Like that's your highest capability of life. And so the consideration itself is your highest capability. And so if
Yeah.
somebody says that they want to go free, or if somebody says they want to be successful, or somebody says they want to be wealthy, if somebody says they want to be happy, oh, but I can never be happy. Oh, that's the highest capability of life. So saith you.
Right. Right. So that's your
So what's the
consideration.
next step up? So after consideration, what comes next? What's the next
Well,
phase? You've got the
after
idea and you've got your excuses and you've got your all that. What happens next?
well
Beingness.
after you after well beingness, because the consideration is, well, it's a havingness. I have to have this consideration. And
Mm,
if I have to have
Yeah,
this
yeah.
consideration, I need to do this consideration, and I need to be this consideration. And that's where you run into something that your attention is on all the time is what? A present time problem. It's a
mm,
force counterforce. So you're holding this force counterforce saying, it is valid, it is valid, it is valid. I have to do this. When really all it is an outrudiment. An outrudiment is, which is a present time problem, is something that your attention is on. Okay, your attention is on this. Yeah, but I keep trying and it keeps coming back. You know, what's the biggest present time problem of all that I've ever experienced in session with PCs? I don't have enough money.
Mm.
I don't have enough money.
yep.
Okay, got it. How are you going to have, and it's sort of the chicken or the egg. How can you have the chicken without the egg?
Right.
But you got to have a chicken to have the egg. But see, the thing is if you understand your ability as an energy creation unit per the Scientology and Dianetic axioms, you're creating an energy that is stopping. You're not creating an energy that is solving. Again, this comes back to theta the solver, theta the
Mhm,
problem.
mhm,
So if you sat down and you wrote down all your considerations about getting up the bridge and wrote them down on paper, and you leave enough room, or you could do it in a word processor, or you could get on chat gpt and say, I'm going to give you a list of my considerations, and I want you to listen to my considerations, and I'm going to number them for you, and then I want you to pose solutions to this problem for me. You could do that too, and that would be a very 21st century novel way to go about it, where you wouldn't have to, because I know people are going, oh God, I got to write something down. But see, that's a consideration in and of itself. How bad do you want this? How bad do you want this? How bad do you want to be what your potential is? But because you're looking at your potential through the lens of, you're always putting it out into the future.
mhm.
That's where you go wrong, is you're putting it out in the future. Well, maybe by next year, maybe in a couple of years I can go OT. I know people that have been saying that for 30, 40, 50 years and haven't achieved that, because it's always something out in the future. It's like going to the gym. I'll go to the gym tomorrow. I'll go to the gym tomorrow. I'll go to the gym tomorrow. And then 2 years later, you're like, I need to go to the gym tomorrow, because
Right.
your consideration, because, and I'm not pointing out any particular people here in this conversation, but that it's that type of a thing. And that's a reality that people have, is I'll go on a diet tomorrow. That's what I'm going to do. And so you just keep pushing it out into the future because you have this consideration. I'll do it tomorrow.
Well, and that's
Well, what
why,
is,
and somebody was on the call with me the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, I know you don't like going to the gym, Q." And I said, "Nope, I sure don't." And that's why I don't put it out there. I don't say, "Oh yeah, I'll do this tomorrow," or "I need to do that." Nope, I'm doing exactly what I choose to do in this moment. Okay, and when I choose to go to the gym, and when I choose to listen, this body gonna be tight. I'm gonna tell y'all now. You just wait and see. Okay. So
Is that a consideration?
That's my highest capability of life because I'm ready. But the thing is that I'm not going to ever keep saying, okay, and when I should go to the gym, I should go to the gym, I should get up the bridge, I should do this, I should listen. No, because what you're doing is you're actually kind of coming against your own postulate when you do that. If you really think about it.
That's right.
You're going against your own postulate. And I'm not doing that. I'm not going to start compromising with my own reality per the code of honor.
That's
I,
right. And that is a definition of a problem. Force counter force is you've got a postulate, counter postulate.
yeah, no, my postulate stick. So,
Artie, you were going to say something?
Um, yeah, I'm 70% postulate and 30% still woulda, shoulda, coulda.
right.
Actually,
So
the thing
tell
the
us your
thing that
feelings about that.
well, it's interesting because okay, so when you run out of imaginary justifications, right? Then you start bringing in real life justifications. So right now I've got a little PTP going on, and that's my justification. But I'm also in the mindset of I need to step beyond that as well, because that PTP is preventing me from doing so many other things. And so it's almost like, and with that particular situation, time is the only answer to see it through. But I know that, and so why am I letting it prevent me from doing other things
Mhm.
that I could
Yeah.
be doing in the meantime as well? And so
What
that's
Right.
where I'm at now. So yeah.
Yeah, and
So, so
a PTP is a present time problem that yes, do we create our own problems? Does life create its own problem for its own solution? Yes. But
Yep.
when it comes to PTPs, if the consideration is that it's a solvable, handleable, acceptable randomity, right? It's an acceptable randomity. Plus and minus randomity. We talked about this in the other podcast, but randomity is when this randomness or this stuff that starts to happen, seemingly apparently random stuff starts to happen. That if you accept it as acceptable randomity, you don't have to be anxious or overwhelmed by it, right? But if it
Mm.
comes in this band of too much randomity or too little dragging out randomity, boredom, then that becomes a problem for a being. And so this is why LRH says be able to experience anything. The way
Mm.
to two rules of happiness. Be able to experience anything. And so by you being able to experience anything, you can have that experience, but then you make your new postulates around what it is that you really wish or desire to experience for your life, and that becomes even better.
yeah,
And
so
I think that's the trick. Yeah. That's definitely
yeah,
the trick. But is that a learnt skill?
well, I think it's manifest. If like in your situation, your current present time problem, and per what LRH says, that the only thing you can be found guilty of is being there or communicating, and a postulate was made. Well, oh, who made that postulate? Because a postulate is whatever the decision that puts you into motion, into action in the physical universe. Because whether you're brushing your teeth or your present time problem or whatever, to our listeners, that is a postulate that you made that is intending force as a thetan through the body into the physical universe to produce a change. Is it a positive change? Is it a negative change? If it's a negative change, it was a solution to a problem that became a further problem. Now, let's do the mirror image of that. Okay, the solution to a problem for the greatest good for the greatest number of dynamics is not a future problem as long as it improves your ability. Does that make sense?
And it's funny you say it that way as well, because that's very true. And I think you also have to be in a position to be able to see it that way too.
Well, exactly, and that's why
Yeah.
we're doing this podcast, is because it's hard for a being to think that way, because what it comes down to is complexity and confronting.
Mm.
But if I did that, then I have to do this, and that comes back to this: writing down your considerations, getting your considerations off. It's very similar to what one does when one writes up their overts and withholds. Why does that work, and why does that change it for a person? Because per axiom 11, you're getting an as isness in the Scientology axioms. You're getting an as isness by getting it all out there into the physical universe. It's a two-terminal universe. The paper is one terminal, you are the other. And there is a transference of energy that you've created that is sitting there because it's altered. And when you put it on the paper, and key datum, you're honest with yourself, and you put all of that information in there, and that's a tough key datum. But the thing is you can do the same thing with your considerations. You go, okay, what is it that's stopping me from getting up the bridge? What, and let's even go higher. From both of you, for our listeners, what is the purpose of going up the bridge on the training side and the auditing side? Why would somebody want to do that from your viewpoints, your individual viewpoints? Start.
All right. To become to become a machine in your own life where you can create with purpose, with intention, with clarity, and you make the world plasticine. So you're the
Okay,
one
so
molding the universe versus the universe molding you.
okay, now what about you as a Thetan though? Let's go above Thetan, mind, body. That's I don't want to evaluate there.
Okay,
Which one of
sure.
those is that viewpoint? Is it Thetan, mind, or body for you?
It'd be Thetan because that would include mind and body.
Okay, so how could it be a machine?
Well, because I'm in a machine. I'm
All right.
occupying a machine. Yeah.
All right.
I think when he says
This
machine,
just
he's
got
referring
really
to,
interesting.
yeah, I think when he says machine, he's referring to something that can actually do the work.
That's unstoppable. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what he
So
means.
it was more
Okay.
an expression rather than a
Yeah.
literal thing.
Okay. But
Yeah.
do you see my point?
Oh, yeah. I actually just got it.
What is that?
That if you're coming at it from that consideration, that it requires you being a machine, quote unquote, colloquially, in order to get something done. Hmm. As opposed to just
Exactly.
as opposed to just willing it so and it be.
Ex- exactly. Now, and Arthur, of course, this is no um criticism
Just
of
say
your answer that it's right
I'm
or it's
sure I'll
wrong.
survive.
But I'm trying to make a point to our listeners is that LRH talks about mental machinery. Okay, so
Mental
you're
machinery.
mental machinery. You're mocking up this machine that, okay, I have to run it through this process of something creates something else, which is MEST, not theta.
Hmm.
And that's the point of this is we talked about this in other podcasts where you have to mock up this thing in order to get up the bridge. Okay, well, you already have a thing and it's not a physical thing. It's you, the being, because it isn't part of you. You aren't part of your body. It isn't your body. It is you. So the decision comes from you. The postulate comes from you. So getting up the bridge allows you to create things without having to create anything other than the decision itself.
Yeah. To
And
me,
Okay.
this is factual.
So
This is something I have experienced a lot, and a lot of other people have experienced as they go up the bridge. But to convey this to someone who says, "Well, I have to mock up this thing that produces
Yeah.
widgets or makes biscuits." Okay, why would you do that? Because that is where this whole com lag in the physical universe, I need to see these tangible results to have this physical thing. That's not the theta universe. That's not what you're driving for
Mm-hmm.
in the first
Mm.
place. Get it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's
You're
interesting.
using a
Double.
via.
Right. You're using a via in order to create. And it's interesting in my spiritual journey and how I literally live my life. I say a lot of times, and you guys have heard me say it before too, like I don't worry about stuff. Like I don't worry about things. And it is what it is. I was going through a lawsuit 2024. It was last year. Yeah, last year. 2023, 2024. And um when I had told my friends about it, my friends were getting like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that's happening to you." It was a car accident situation. I can't believe that's happening to you. I was like, I ain't worried about it because they ain't getting no money out of me. And I was like, it is what it is. And lo and
Right.
behold, as things unfolded, and it took a long time because it was just all these back and forth, back and forth. And my attorneys ended up, helping me through it. So, I thank God for them. But the idea is that I'm not worried about this stuff, this machinery stuff. I'm not worried about the cogwheels of the planet Earth, and I'm not worried about it. And it gets me to a place where I can create. And I'm saying this for those of you who understand what that feels like. You get to a point where you can create without vias, without encumbrances. You can, mm, I hate this word, but manifest
Yeah.
things. Um, I prefer
They're
the word
just there.
I prefer the word conjure,
Yeah.
but you can you
Y-
can
y-
make you can make things be, right? You can make things be, and from that position of beingness, which is what OT is, which is what going through clear and OT, you get to this position of beingness. Clear to me helps you not worry as much, right? When you
Yeah.
when you when you are able to go clear, you're not dramatizing your own engrams, you're not dramatizing this stuff, you don't have your own reactive mind. And so you're able to go through things as they are and as is things, or vanish things, vanquish things, conquer things, the material the mess universe. You're able to conquer the mess universe. At OT, you're able to create. You're able to create along the mess universe, right? And
Yeah.
that's a yes, that's a really, really good feeling.
Yeah, interesting.
Arthur?
Interesting. Yeah, because it's just made me realize, um, like as I'm moving my way up, obviously, having you guys helping me through it as well, it makes a significant difference. And I'm able to sort of, like, while we're having this podcast, yep, I can see exactly what's being said, right? But then outside of the podcast, and I'm left with my own mind,
Right. Right.
things creep in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. So it's like I'm very aware of the potential, but I don't know the potential just yet.
Yeah.
I
Right.
know it exists, but the knowing
Right.
hasn't kicked in 100% to be that just yet. But I'm very
Yeah.
aware of it.
And that's the beautiful
So
thing about
that
auditing. I'm sorry, go ahead, John.
no, that's okay. Go ahead, Quentin.
I was just saying that's the beautiful thing about auditing is that as you're auditing, you regain native abilities, right? You regain native ability. And so I like how you said it, Art, where you was like, it just, I know it's there. I know it's real. I just haven't regained that. It just hasn't kicked in yet. I just haven't regained that ability. And that's exactly what auditing does. It turns things on in a way that I've now regained this ability. And that's where it's been this whole time, behind that situation, behind that engram, behind
Yeah.
that posture that I made. Psh, like, really? And it's
Yep.
sometimes the most ridiculous of things. The most ridiculous of things. And you'll be in session, and Jonathan can attest because I've been in session, and some of the stuff that comes up, like, why that though?
Right.
I'd be like, but
Well, I
why
mean,
why that postulate?
even before we started the podcast, John, what are you doing tomorrow morning? So, because I know I can't do it on my own just yet. I haven't reached that point where I still don't need some kind of assistance for it. You know what I mean? But I'm
Yeah.
willing to get that assistance
Yes.
to put myself in a better position.
Get in
You know,
session.
I'm being that honest with myself where even my ego is not getting in the way of this. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I'm aware that I can't do this on my own. And so therefore I'm asking for help to put me in a better
Right.
position. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so
Okay.
even though I'm not there on my own, so to speak, I still have that awareness that, you know, the assistance will help me. Part of it won't be the whole solution, but it'll definitely help me now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I can continue my considerations. And so I can continue putting things into place. So I can continue with my goals. So I can continue to cross things off my list.
Hmm.
Right. Because I mean, in your particular PTP, you had said, I without disclosing the nature of it, because it's
Yeah, yeah.
your privacy, and we're doing a podcast. But you said, I'm going to do this on my own, and then you said, oh, no, I need some help, and you did that, and you're looking at the audit, and you're like, no, I can't do this on my own yet. I'm going to do this, and it'll help. And
Yep.
I offered to help, because you're part of staff and everything like that. Let's get you in session and let's clean this area up. But see, that consideration, what a consideration is, I can't do that, or I can't do that because of this. That's the
Mm,
postulate.
Yeah.
That's the
yep.
postulate. The thing is it isn't a do, it's a be. Because
Mm,
a consideration is, well, I can't ride a bike. I don't know how to ride a bike. I can't drive a car. I don't know how to drive a car. All right. Well, you stopped before you ever started.
Yeah.
Literally. That's
yeah.
the
Yep. Yep.
postulate. That's the postulate. Change that consideration. How do you do that? Write it down. Get on Chat GPT. So give it the definition of a Scientology consideration, and you can find that just in the technical dictionary. You can download it from us on ao-gp.org. Give it to it. Upload the whole technical dictionary as a PDF to Chat GPT and say, okay, I'm going to give you considerations one at a time, and I want you to ask me what this is my consideration. I can't do X.
Wow.
I can't go up the bridge. Okay. And Chat GPT will say, all right, what are your considerations on that?
Hmm.
And I'm not telling you to use Chat GPT to audit you. This isn't an
Yeah,
auditing
that's the
process.
auditing. Yeah.
This is this is literally you just giving your considerations to AI, and telling it, I want you to do this. When I give you after you ask me for the primary consideration and my justifications for it, okay, here it is. Here it is. And okay, give me another reason why you can't do this. And after a while, you're going to go, that's silly, just like you said, Quentin, about being in session, because all you're doing is you're just getting it out into the physical universe with a two-way communication with the AI. And you can use the voice feature in Chat GPT to do so. I don't even think you have to have a paid account to do it, because you can upload the technical dictionary PDF. It'll read it, and it's already OCR'd, which means it can read it. It has to be able to read the PDF from us, and then put it on there and say, hey, these are my, I'd like you to ask me about my considerations on what is stopping me from going up the bridge.
Mm.
And I'd like you to ask the consideration and then say, okay, what are other reasons for this consideration or justifications, whatever you want to do, until you run out of answers. And you know what? As soon as you do that, it could be 100. But as soon as you do that, you're going to feel different, because you've unmocked the postulate
Yeah.
that is your consideration. It's that simple. It's that
So it's very
simple.
similar
It's
to doing withholds. Like very similar.
Well, yeah. I mean, what a postulate is at the bottom of everything because
Mm.
whether it's an overt or a withhold up the chain or the way you go about things or whatever, all you're trying to do is get that off to another terminal, and then you look at it and go, "Oh, well, I don't have to do that. I could do this." And then you can ask Chat GPT. So, what are some pro-survival postulates I could make that are counter to these considerations in order to get in session, in order to get training, in order to make money, all this. I mean, you figure it out from there because you'll be amazed what you can do with AI just getting these considerations off and making a new postulate because you're unwinding the postulate by getting these considerations off. It's that simple. And now you have the tools.
So I need to fix my
How
postulate.
about that?
Yeah, so I need to fix my postulate then because I said earlier that this body is going to be tight, right? And I think the way I need to say it is, as opposed to this body is going to be tight, it needs to be, I love my body. I do love my body. And in loving my body, I want to uh, be pro-survival concerning my body. And I want to do things, I'm doing things that are pro-survival for my body, and I'm doing things that allows my body to function at its highest potential. And yes, so as opposed to my postulate being, this body gonna be tight, it is, I love my body and I'm doing things to have my body in a pro-survival way to have my body function at its highest potential.
Right. And so the way a consideration works, and you're looking at quote unquote OT ability, is if you've never been able to ride a bike and you want to ride a bike, you've got to change your consideration about riding bikes because
That's
if you
right.
could ride a bike, you'd already be riding it, right?
Right.
Yep.
So because if you don't have, and this comes back to the stable datum, what your stable datum is your current consideration.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can change your consideration about your stable datum. Because if you go, well, I've never done that before. I don't see how that could happen, that I could actually go up the bridge, or that I could have more money than I could waste.
Right.
Because I've never experienced that before, therefore it's not real. Why is it
That's
not
good.
real? Because you have the consideration.
Yes.
And I know it's a, well, this is all unicorns, peace, love, rainbows, and flowers. No, it's not. It is your consideration that is standing in the way. You are the problem creating the problem. Change your consideration by getting off the reasons that it is your consideration. This is the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't you want to do that? But you have to get out of your own way by changing your considerations. I'm not joking with you. You can do this, and it doesn't take a long time because all you have to do is take that little pin that's holding this thing out of the way so that you can get up the bridge. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so little you can barely grab it with your little Thetan fingers and pull that pin out, and out it falls, and all of a sudden the solutions present themselves, and there it is. And you don't have to expect it. You don't need, there's no expectation. It's a no. That's where it's at on the tone scale. Serenity of beingness. Just decide this and pull that pin out. Sit down and write out your considerations and how these are so important, and then you'll find they're no longer important. It's
Right.
that easy. You do it with AI because you learned how to ride a bike, you learned how to swim, you learned how to go out and get a job when you were a teenager or in your 20s or whatever. I can't do that. I can't go in and confront those people. I have to turn in my CV. I have to go out and I have to fill out these applications. I'm so afraid of these people. These are all considerations that are in the way. But once you did it, you went, huh,
Mm-hmm.
that was easy. We've
Right.
all done it. I
Right.
mean, what? Give me an example, Arthur, of a consideration about something other than Scientology. What is a consideration that's in the way that is preventing you from doing something?
I got one.
Snap answer.
Okay. So snap answer, present time problem.
Okay. So what are your and obviously give me one that isn't your present time problem right now, so we're not getting into your personal life. Something
Okay.
less than that, for privacy's sake.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let's say financial growth,
Okay. So what's your primary consideration about financial growth?
making money, lots of money.
Okay. So what's your consideration on making money?
I have to work for it.
Mm.
Okay. So what are your considerations on working for it?
It takes too much time. It's not fast enough.
Mm.
Okay. Tell me more about that.
I want the money now, not next month, not next year, not 5 years, not 10 years.
Okay. So your consideration is on time, not
Yes,
money.
actually, yes, yes. Oh,
Okay. What are your
I'm actually
considerations
really
about time?
impatient. There's not enough of it.
Thank you. Tell me about that.
Just thinking about next week is too much in the future.
Do you see where this goes?
Mhm.
You see how we're unwinding this? Because the alter isness is not what you're saying that it is.
Yeah.
It's something completely different. And that is the alter isness that is holding this in place. As we unwind this, we find, and if we were to continue to go on doing this, which I would recommend that you do either in paper or with an AI, is you unwind this and you then get down to the bottom of it, and then you get the as isness.
Hmm.
And all of a sudden your consideration changes, because if a Theta knew it was going on with them, what was wrong with them, quote unquote, in reverse quotations, if they knew it was wrong with them, it wouldn't be wrong with them. But what you're doing is you're pulling this string and you're pulling this string and you're pulling this string and you're pulling this string. And what you say it is not it, because if you knew that what that was, we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation about making money. It's not about money. It's about something else, because if it was, you would have already handled it.
Right.
That's how you change your considerations. Considerations are senior to the physical universe. LRH says you get the right why, you open the door to a handling. Pull that string. Why? Go ahead with Quentin. What was yours?
So, oh, I was going to say something else, but okay. So mine was about being able to launch this new, very robust program that I'm coming out with.
Okay. What considerations do you have on that? Give me the
Um,
primary one. What's your primary consideration right now?
that I've never done it and it's too big.
Okay. Tell me about it being too big.
Um, it is, it's a long term, it's a 6 month program that I've worked with people for longer than 6 months, but I've never worked with them in a programmatic kind of process kind of way. So it's too big in the sense that I'm going to be working with the same people on and on and on for 6 months straight. And that's,
Like I do with auditing, where
yeah,
it's a long term thing instead of for a month or for a week
right.
or whatever,
Or just a
right?
session. Right. Hmm.
Okay. So what are your considerations on working with them for a 6 month period of time?
That this is what's first coming up, that somewhere in that process, they're going to quit.
Okay. What are your considerations on them quitting? What was that?
Or or I'm going to not show up. Yeah.
Okay. What are your considerations on not showing up?
Um
You see this, Arthur?
that
I'm
sometimes
watching. I'm watching.
that
You see
sometimes
his face?
sometimes I I don't want to commit myself to a long
Yes.
process because I don't want to have to be on the hook to show up
Ah,
if I don't want to.
ah, there
Interesting.
we go. Okay. What are your considerations about having to show up and being on the hook?
Wow. Okay. So I don't know if this is auditing, but so this is
It's
what,
no, this is not auditing. This
okay,
this
thank you
is
for that.
just an administrative drill.
Okay, fantastic. So when you just asked that question, and I, okay, so I, I'm trying to see how to say it that makes sense. I would have to always show up when I was younger in my religion, growing up Jehovah's Witness. I would have to always show up for Sunday service, Tuesday night book study, Bible study, Thursday night ministry school, and Saturday field service. We knocked on doors and stuff. And because I had to always show up, the things that I wanted to do, I couldn't always do because I had to show up to be of service or to prepare myself to be of service to others, which sounds very noble in consideration, but it's frustrating when there's other things that are going on. There's other games I want to play. There's other stuff that's happening in the world, and I have to show up for this thing. Sunday, Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then every morning we had to be at the table for the Bible read because we had to read the Bible before we went to school. And then there was this real, I was in a very conservative religious kind of space. And so every morning we had to be at the table to read the Bible. Then Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, we had to be at the Kingdom Hall to be available to either prepare
Hmm.
for field service or get ready for field service or do field service on Saturday. And then Sunday after service, we had to go out to field service. So literally 5 out of 7 days, I was engaging in some kind of other isness or other determinism. Yes.
And
And so
it's
I,
funny you sharing your story has
uh-huh.
made. Sorry, go. I keep
No,
going.
that was
Keep
it.
going.
Like I just had these other determinisms that said that this is what you're supposed to do, and I wanted to do something different.
Okay. So, what are your considerations in doing something different other than showing up?
That something could uh be something could be better for me to show up for, but I can't because I have to show up for this.
Okay. So, who's creating that?
It's just it's because I don't know. It's not a creating thing. It's almost like it's like if
It's
I
still a
no, it's definitely
it's still a
consideration.
consideration.
My consideration is if I commit to this long-term track and I want to be available and I want to show up for it if I commit to it, like 100% I'll honor the agreement. But what if I want to go on a 2 week cruise? Or what if I want to? So I kind of been creating my business, and thank you. This is really good. Wow. I've been creating my business um in mediocrity, keeping my business in mediocrity because the bigger cycles and the bigger viewpoints are too much of a commitment for have been too much of a commitment for me. And I don't want that to be the case. That's not true of my being. And yet I have been creating this business for 25 years in mediocrity,
Hmm.
like playing small. You understand what I'm saying? Like playing
Yeah.
small. And in me playing small, it's been keeping me stuck.
Hmm.
That's that.
Hmm.
That's that.
Okay. There you go. All right. So back to Arthur. Arthur, go
Wow.
ahead with what you were going to say.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, it was interesting, Quentin, while you were talking about your younger day.
Mm-hmm.
It actually triggered a memory for me as well,
Mm-hmm.
because everything had to be done now, right now. You have to do it right now. You're going too slow. It has to be fast. You have to do this. You have to do that. I told you to do it now. I want it done right now.
Mm-hmm.
God bless my
Mm-hmm.
mother. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but not only that, and it was interesting because my first job, I was working in a produce department, fruit and veg, at a supermarket, and those guys were really tough. Do it now, do it now. It has to be done now. It has to be done now. And similar to what you were saying, Quentin, it's like, well, I don't want to do it now, but I'm being forced to do it now.
Right.
Right. So what are your considerations on being forced to do it now by somebody
I
else or
don't want to say
yourself?
this out loud, but I'll
No, no,
say it
go
out
ahead.
loud.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll do it tomorrow.
Okay, what are your considerations on doing it tomorrow?
It won't get done.
Thank you. See how that's a postulate?
Yep.
Oh, this is really good. Yeah.
Okay, and this is something anybody can do, and it goes in directions that you would never ever heretofore have ever considered because
Oh my God.
your confront won't go there unless directed by the question. Now you can, like I said, you can do this on your own. You can do it with an AI. You can
Mm-hmm.
get in touch with one of us, and we'll just help you pull your considerations down to the postulate that is creating the counter postulate to what it is that you want to do. And in this case, we're talking about getting up the bridge so that you don't do this anymore. Because when you get this machine out of the way, all of a sudden things happen and the solution presents itself without the machinery. You don't care as a Thetan what the machinery is because you're above that. That's how it happens. And you scare yourself because you make postulates occur. And again, the goal of getting up the bridge isn't getting the physical universe to do what it is that you want it to do. That's not the goal. But you have to go through that as a Thetan in order to get up the bridge. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some
So,
examples, some live examples as well of considerations. Yeah.
yeah.
All up in our business. Right.
Right. Right. You didn't see this coming, did you?
Right.
I wasn't expecting that, but I'm glad it happened that way. Yeah.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
so
Mm-hmm.
Coulda, woulda,
so
shoulda.
that is coulda, woulda, shoulda. And that's all there is to it. It's a labyrinth of your own creation, your own consideration, and it's quite literally just flicking a marble across the room, and you can't predict what it's going to bounce off of and bank off of and where it's going to go. But the thing is, and this is a good analog, and everybody that's listening to this podcast for the most part has stood at a pool table, picked up a pool cue, taken the white ball and said, okay, this is me doing this, and you had no clue and the balls went everywhere. Whereas if you understand the mechanics of physics and you know how to bank your shot, take that angle of the ball and where you're going to hit and where these things are going to end up, then you are to that degree at cause over the game of pool,
Mm-hmm.
eight ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Billiards.
So that's it. Right. So it's either chaos or it's controlled effort in the physical universe. But above that is the decision, the understanding that that's knowingness, understanding, curious, desired, enforced, inhibited, no, or refused. And it's also serenity of beingness. If you just know it, you remove the machinery. But what we've got to do is unwind these considerations. How do I get up the bridge? Well, what are my considerations on the bridge? And do what we just did as an example in this podcast with Quentin and Arthur. Pull your considerations out, and you're going to laugh your ass off how silly these things are.
Right.
Okay. So to our listeners, give it a shot and take that stick and poke at that ball and have control over it. And you'll see where all of this goes. You have control of it. You can do it on paper with AI, or you can contact us and we'll take you in on Zoom and we'll go through it with you to get you up the bridge starting today. So for Quentin and Arthur and myself, we hope you've been illuminated by this podcast, and it is a watershed moment for anybody who dares give it the effort and grab that stick and play some some pool. Namaste, and we love you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Peace.